So how many cats are you going to feed?
Right now we're going to feed 40. That's a great question. We're going to feed about 50 if they're around, but there might only be 20.
How many do you guys do like each night?
So every night we feed over 400 fixed healthy cats throughout town. And because of this fire, unfortunately, we have a suspicion that about 150 to 200 may have perished. But because of that, we're finding a lot of extra help that we've never been able to get before. And hopefully we're able to ship out a lot of them to the mainland because their habitats are all torn down. And hopefully find them better homes and shut down this overpopulation here in Lahaina so we can focus on the rest of the island and the rest of the state.
So what's the risk right now?
So the risk right now for us is that we're not prevented to enter most of these areas that are burned down and susceptible to looting. So the police won't let us feed most of our colonies, where the cats that did survive this horrific fire are now starving. We haven't been able to feed them since last Monday. Even right now, we're going to be going behind a mall that's clearly blockaded by the police to feed about 35 cats, then cross the street to feed 2 of the 17 that remain alive at a corner house that's completely in a burned down neighborhood.
So have you tried this since the fire?
So we've been doing our best to obey the law, but occasionally have found ourselves in a situation where we were able to feed cats and have done so. That's our goal, but again, we'd like to, stay within the law as best as we can.
So we know your risk. What's the risk if you don't feed them?
So the risk is if we don't feed them that they're going to get sicker and die, which is unfortunate because we've spent a lot of time and money and years fixing them and feeding them and loving them. And about 1 out of every 5 stray cats out here is friendly. So that's even a greater sadness to see the friendly ones getting starved to death and burning.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for 17 years. I moved to this island to semi-retire and recuperate, but I do come from a dog rescue family, and I saw an immediate need in Maui to help these poor stray cats that have a giant overpopulation problem and lack of education here and resources to complete any adequate mission. So for the last 17 years, I've been out here almost every single night, sometimes for as long as 5-6 hours a night just feeding. And then there's also, injured cats, neighborhood help, finding fosters, helping kittens and the like. So it's more than a full-time job, and I'm volunteer. Our group is an all-volunteer group, SaveMauiCats.org, and we do what we can and pay out of our own pocket to make magic happen, and sadness like this happens sometimes.
Are you the only one that's been doing this?
We have a small group of volunteers now. We have 12 volunteers, but unfortunately 7 of our volunteers just lost their home. Up until about 3 years ago, it was primarily just me, and I'd be out on the streets feeding cats for about 4.5 hours every night.
So I'm looking right over your shoulder and I'm seeing blue lights flashing. Does that make you nervous?
I know. Most of the police here know who I am. They know I'm the crazy cat guy that's out at the streets at 2 in the morning, running across highways trying to feed a cat or save a cat. So the police already know who I am, and my vehicle's very recognizable. So they've been on my side, and I'd like to respect them as much as possible.
Good. Excellent. Well, let's see what happens.
just fixed a bunch of cats for Ellie, and then she lost her house. She was about to get the county council involved in trying to help cats finally, because I've been here 17 years with not a little help, but now that's all in the back. Okay. We're gonna ask the police if they let us. You'll see there's a few cats there. You can use my place as like a landing pad.
Can you film us or
I'll get you guys out of it.
What's that?
I don't want you to get busted.
Don't worry about me.
Honey, you might want to.
They're probably just gonna like.
Hey, come on over here, we'll get out of the area.
Okay, thank you. It's back on the on Kiave, on the Cane Road. His two. Okay.
That's restricted areas, my man.
Okay. Gotcha.
And that's what happens when you feed the cats.
Some of the consequences you face when you try and feed cats that are starving in a disaster. Yes.
How'd it go?
So last night we were in the back of a cop car because we were trying to feed cats in a place that's burned down where only 2 out of 17 remain. After that, we tried to sneak into a couple of other locations, but the cops are pretty steadfast on making sure we don't enter. So we're real concerned about certain areas where we know there's surviving cats, but we are doing our best out there. We're making about 25 stops a night instead of the 50 that we're used to making. And so we are seeing a lot of surviving animals and doing our best to get them out of here. But it's a tough night and the cops don't want us around.
So I'm gonna back you up for people that don't understand what's going on here. Kind of give us a rundown on Hawaii's cat problem.
So I moved here back in 2006. I come from an animal rescue family. We did mostly dogs and some cats, and I thought it was going to be an easy fix here because really all you have to do is follow successful guidelines that are called TNRM, Trap, Neuter, Return, Manage. But unfortunately the resources and education have not really been here. Fortunately, the education and resources have never been here. We do occasionally get free TNR clinics so we can fix these cats for free, but they're sporadic. And they've only been consistent or semi-consistent for about 6 years. So as you can imagine, for the 17 years I've been here, spay and neuter programs were almost obsolete. Instead, a lot of locals and politicians and officials think that if you eradicate all the cats, you will solve the problem. Unfortunately, they spent $1.3 million in Kauai to do just that. They used that money to kill 12,000 street cats, whether they were fixed or not, only to find out that in 2 short years they had 12,000 new street cats that all needed to be fixed. Because cats are an apex predator in Hawaii, our weather season is perfect for breeding, and there's plenty of natural resources, Hawaii will always have a cat problem. The best you can do is to fix them and feed them. They will work as a team together to keep more cats from entering their colony, and that will actually reduce the overpopulation problem.
So you've become almost like a parent to these cats, and what's it like for you seeing what's going on with this wildfire and what's left behind in your town and everything else that's going on? How's it impacting you?
This last week has been the worst week of my life. We have seen tragedies beyond belief. I mean, there's still starving cats out there that we can't focus on. Save Maui Cats, our organization at SaveMauiCats.org, has recently fixed 155 cats in 5 days. It was a huge effort to make that happen, only to find out that many of them have already perished in these fires. We had a group of 18 cats we fixed. They're all dead. And just a matter of, short week or 2 since we fixed them. It's very discouraging. Our whole town looks like Syria. There's no power, no cell phone reception where I live. Every person from every economic level is living on food banks and free gasoline. This town may take years to recover. And in the meantime, we're prevented from entering areas where there's starving cats because it's considered too dangerous for people to even walk through the streets.
Obviously, this has become your life work. What's the progress been like over the last week? Has it just unwound everything?
When we first started here, and I first started in 2006, there was the worst place you can imagine for cats across Hawaii. Every block was littered with dead cats. You'd find kittens dying inside dumpsters that people threw away regularly. And over time, I've helped manage to reduce that overpopulation problem. We were effectively making a difference. Fortunately, when we have situations like this, it takes everything back, where you can't provide medical services, basic spay and neuter, even just food is becoming a very hard thing to make happen. And it worries me to death about the ones that made it through this tragic fire and now may face starving to death, because we have no idea when they may open up these areas again. Some colonies haven't eaten in over a week. We've begged the police, we've contacted the politicians, even our Humane Society cannot enter these areas. And so we're praying and doing everything we can to even have somebody sneak in and feed if possible, which is very unlikely.
Has the wildfire brought any hope to the situation?
The best thing that happened since this wildfire is that we're going to get some national attention. Hawaii has had a major cat overpopulation problem that has been mismanaged for decades. This fire can bring light to that. This fire can bring resources to that. If we had ample resources to fix and feed all these cats in Hawaii, we would definitely solve this overpopulation problem. TNRM, Trap, Neuter, Return Manage, is a strategy that's been used in over 500 cities and major cities worldwide, and it's been proven to be the only effective solution. The trouble is we can't get that word out to our local politicians who are funding this. So it's a very lackadaisical approach to solving this problem.
What's your dream?
My dream is for rescue groups around the world, around the nation, to come here and rally to get us the support we need.
How do they do that?
Rescue groups from around the nation have resources that we don't have. They have money that we aren't given. They can rally the politicians to do the right thing. It wouldn't take that much time and effort to fix the cats across Hawaii. That's the number one goal. We would love to have neuter scooters, transportation help to get people's cats in and out, widespread publicity and education to prove that the TNRM strategy is the only way to solve this cat overpopulation problem.
And how do they get in touch with you?
To contact us, we're at SaveMauiCats.org. We do all we can. We're an all-volunteer group. 7 of our 12 volunteers just lost their homes, and they won't be able to help anymore. So the few that remain are doing everything we can to help these animals and to continue to help solve this problem. Please reach out to us at SaveMauiCats.org.
Thank you.